It can be difficult finding different people that match your energy, especially if you have spent time in energy that doesn't really work for you. And every time you spend time with another human being, whether you kiss them or you even go to the ultimate level, we know that it does affect you, and not only affects you, but it affects your energy from that point forward. And a lot of the problems that people have, it goes back to who they're dating, why they're dating this person, why they're talking to this person, and why are they trying to make something work which doesn't work, right? And then as people get more and more into their emotions about it, it just kind of blows up, and then it turns into something that we kind of see as, painful.
This is probably going to be the thing that triggers me into tears, so I'm warning you early that I definitely will cry. I'll be surprised if I don't cry. I'm going to talk about my feelings of inadequacy when it comes to romantic relationships. I'm a lover girl. I've been a lover girl at my core. Okay, I've been thinking back on this conversation I've had a lot with one of my ex-partners, and I dated somebody who was really sweet and really kind, but one thing that he did that I didn't like is the fact that he joked around a lot. And I didn't care about the fact that he joked around a lot. I just cared about the fact that I was always like the punchline, and I was always like the butt of his jokes. And this time I was going through it. Work was not going well for me. At this time, I was really speaking my mind to my family about the way that I was feeling and the way that they were making me feel, and they did not like that. So I was low-key being excommunicated by my family, and we were having a moment. We had just watched a really, really romantic movie, and in this romantic movie, there was just a scene where they were just like snuggling and talking, and I just told them, and I turned to him, and I was just like, I wish that we could do stuff like this a little bit more, because I love to just cuddle and yap. Like, that's my thing. And when I told him that, he looked at me and he goes, "You must think that I'm just like this like soft ass tender ass." And I was just like, you exhibit moments of softness and tenderness, so yeah, I would think that you are this way. And as I'm trying to express that I want these like soft and gentle moments with him, he just like laughs at me, and I'm just like, why are you laughing? I'm being so serious. Like, I want that. And he just goes and he's like, you just want a storybook romance, a film romance, something that's like fictional and like not real. And he's like tearing into the fact that I just want some softness in love. And I was just like, yes, I want that. Like, why would I not want that? And we get into like a little argument over it, and the very next day he tells me that he does not think that he can love me properly because I want somebody that's soft and I want something that's unrealistic, and he's real. And I was just like, ow. That conversation really triggered me too, because I have been told my entire life that the way that I want love is very unrealistic. I've been told by my parents that I just expect perfection in love. I've been told by previous friends that I expect perfection in friendships, and that isn't true. I'm fully aware that people are not perfect, and I'm not asking for people to be perfect. I'm asking for people to just love me softly, and I feel like I very much deserve softness and gentleness in love. I have gone through a lot of hard shit. I want so badly to be received with softness in love. And I know that softness in love exists for me somewhere. And the reason why I know that is because I know the way that I love. I'm not some fucking unicorn. Nobody acts like me. I have found plenty of people in this life who really, really identify with me, who love in a very similar way to me, right? I don't think it's unrealistic to be cuddled up with somebody on the couch or maybe on the balcony and just talk for hours.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. And you see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. And, it's always really interesting to me. I found this one with Life with Bra. I just did another one from her as well. And, I kind of love to really go in and see what's going on. It's very interesting, people on TikTok, because I like the fact that with TikTok, we're actually able to see a little bit more of a real person. Remember what I'm talking about all the time is I say that most people out in these spaces are a little bit instinct driven. So for the people that have been around for a while, they know that I talk about that. These people being a little bit more instinct driven. And instinct driven energy is the energy that people will say in women, they would call that masculine energy. So most of the women that you see in these spaces are masculine. However, TikTok is a little bit differently. And the reason why is because your Gen Zers and a little bit of your millennials, they have been basically born and raised with the internet. So they feel very comfortable with the internet, and then they feel very comfortable, telling the world about their lives. And I even did a couple of videos. They even talked about how there are women that have married men, especially if they married a man that was a little bit older, how he will not allow them to talk about their life on the internet. Because see, men don't like that. We don't like our business out there in the street. But I think a lot of women find TikTok to be very, community based, and that women are in, helping them and blessing them and saying, you go girl, it's going to be okay. And so they like that side of the community, where a lot of men, we don't care if you got that community. We don't want our business in the street. But I do appreciate the fact that, women are putting this stuff out here, because really nothing has ever changed from generation to generation. It's like I'm always telling you, the only real thing that's changing is that now when you deal with somebody in their 40s or 50s, they're just a little bit older and they use slightly different words to explain things. It's the same thing with the Bible. The Bible has talked about humans from, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years ago, however we want to say it. And people, again, have not changed. It's just the terminology has changed. And so we always have to look at it from that perspective. Now let's get into it. So what this lady is asking for, again, is not unreasonable. But again, like many people, she has picked the wrong person. And I know there's going to be guys that's going to be in the comments that are going to be watching, be like, yeah, man, all these. And the whole thing, again, is about the wrong person. And guys make this mistake too. We're learning from the women today, but guys make these mistakes as well. See, what's really going on is all about, like I say, the person that you pick. I've talked about it so many times before. I'm always using myself as an example, and I'm always basically saying I'm not perfect. And the reason why I'm always talking like that is because I want you to know I'm not some super dude up here that's judging everybody and trying to let y'all know that y'all got to be like me and all this other kind of stuff. I am an intellectual. Layman's term, I am a nerd. All right? But I don't dress like a nerd. I don't walk like a nerd. I don't talk like a nerd. Why? Because I'm in control of myself. And I understand what the world wants me to do. It's all about playing a game. And again, your parents are supposed to be teaching you this. But if you have not been taught this, okay, now is your time to know it. The woman on the screen is decently attractive. Depending upon who you are as you're watching it as a man, you might find her very attractive, or you might not find her attractive at all. But it doesn't matter. Technically, directly to you, she's decently attractive. She seems like she could be a little bit more heart type. Again, if you've been, flowing with my channel, you kind of know what that is. And again, I'll put it up on the screen. But even in that heart type, there are men that are heart type. About half of the men that come out to Christian Singles Connect, and for the new people, that is the group that I help to organize. Okay, here in Atlanta, we have over 4,000 members. Okay, but in that group, most of the men that come out, half, I would say, that come out are heart type guys, right? And heart types love emotion. They love being in their feelings. They love to do nice things. They're naturally romantic. But heart type men are the number one men that get looked over because they are so nice, because they are so sweet, because they are so kind. And a lot of women, they think there is something wrong with the guy if he has that. I was literally just watching an old rerun of Ready to Love. And on there, literally the women were all kind of beating up on this one particular guy because, again, he was walking in a little bit more of a kind of chill energy. And the women were quickly saying that, oh, he feels like my brother. He doesn't really feel like a love interest, right? And so again, we have to talk about that because again, it's about who you're picking. And I've told you guys before, I am instinct driven. Yes, I am very much instinct driven. But my second energy is actually a heart type. Okay, so I am the type that can actually do both. And when I deal with women that have all this, because like I say, I really don't do as well with instinct driven women, but I can, date them and I have done it in the past. But if I find a woman that doesn't have any heart energy, I mean, it's like zero. I mean, because I literally have dated women with zero heart energy. They might have been just instinct thinking or they might have been 100% thinking. It's hard for me because my heart energy wants to lock up with another heart energy person. But again, when I'm dealing with the person in front of me, it doesn't matter how attractive they are. It doesn't matter if I haven't dated anybody in, 5 years. Okay, it doesn't matter. That person is not for me and I have to let them go. And we have to remember that a lot of people are trying to force these relationships. And see, this is why I always want women to kind of take charge of who they're dating, either directly or indirectly. I mean, I would prefer for women to do it directly, by positioning themselves around really great men instead of always sitting back and allowing men to pick them. Because at that point, a lot of times you actually end up getting polluted by guys that really aren't that good and they don't have, a heart energy that really works for you. All right. Instead, you have to figure it out. Now, I will say to her point, because like I said, I don't know her. She's giving her side of the story. I don't know his side of the story and everything else. But, especially with her potty mouth, because I know I had to do a lot of bleeping for you guys. That side of her is not attractive, to me because of where I am in life. But that also could be hurting her from getting to the man that she's looking for, right? Because you're never going to get everything of what you want. And I've said this before. You'll be lucky to get about 65 to 70%. Don't believe this, you're going to get 80%. It's extremely rare, extremely rare. And the more you tend to be what I call an extreme personality, okay, the more likely you're not going to get it. All right. The only people that are getting 80% are the people that I would consider average. The average person can get that. But it's still very rare. Okay. Because a lot of average people may very well date and marry people that are at the extreme. And at that point, you're never going to get that extra 10 to 15%. Right. So you have to work on trying to, clean up those gaps. But let's talk about softness. Women can get softness from men that give softness, but you got to get it from a man that gives softness. And again, that is where a woman is supposed to say yay or nay. If a woman goes out with a man and the man doesn't open a door, the man doesn't pay for the meal, the man doesn't do XYZ, then why do you give him a second date? Again, boo, that was your choice. You gave him a second date. You did not have to give him a second date. For me, like when I date a woman, I force her to basically wait while I open the door. Okay, I do it to the car, I do it to the door to, whatever building, establishment, and I tell her my rules and regulations. And this is one of those things I'm always telling men, don't be afraid to tell a woman your rules and regulations. Most women love it because they want to know where they stand and how you're going to go through life. Now, some of them will test you on them. Okay, to see whether or not you're saying for truth. But like for me, I like to open the door. I like a woman to walk in a little bit more of a princess type of energy. And if she does not walk in that, then I will give her 2 or 3 dates to figure it out. All right. But after 2 or 3 dates, I'm gone. I've had so many women, to tell me, oh, you're not giving us a chance. You're not giving, us enough time. Boo, I told you 3 or 4 times to wait here as I open this door. I've given you that shot. I understand other men ain't like that, but you need to get out of their mind space and get in my mind space. That is your responsibility. If you have to write it down on a book and you have to go over your notes before our second date, that is on you. That is not on me. All right. And I tell you my rules and regulations. I tell you how it's going to roll. I tell you what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Okay. I'm very clear and I'm precise. So when I come to the 3rd date and I'm trying to open that door, okay, I'm trying to be a gentleman and then you run to that door and you open it yourself and then you zip on through there, you're telling me that you're not in any kind of way where you're going to take my leadership, you're not paying attention, and so there you are cut off. And see, most people, they would try to make it work. Oh, the woman's so pretty. Oh, she all this and this and this. Oh, I want to get in her drawers and all this other kind of stuff. I don't play those games. If the woman is not lining up, it's over. And a lot of women, they need to take that stance. I'm not saying you have to be overly picky about everything. That's not what I'm saying for the women. But what I am saying is if you're looking for a man who has romantic energy, because that's what it is, and that is in the heart type, so he needs to have some kind of variation of heart type energy within him. Whether he's thinking heart, instinct heart, or heart, he needs to have some of that within him. And if you're not willing, okay, to look for those men, then you'll never get it. Now, I will say it comes with sacrifice. Okay, each and every last energy comes with sacrifice. Okay, because again, you're not going to get everything. So you got to figure out what's the most important thing for you to get. But for a woman to say, all I want to do is sit next to a guy, we watch a movie together, he rubs my back, he rubs my feet, afterwards we talk for 2 hours. Girl, that's so easy. That's so easy. I mean, it's millions of men that'll do that. But again, those are the men that generally are out here complaining. Those are the men that's generally saying, why am I not getting a lot more attention from women?
Really, really spoke to me. And basically she got emotional talking about how she really wants to be treated with softness. And there's a few TikToks that I come across where I'm like, every single word of this speaks to me. So it's something that people don't understand unless they've been through it. And I felt every single word of what she was talking about in this video in terms of her wanting softness from, her partner and from other people, but then being made to feel like she's asking for too much or she's being too sensitive. This is something that I have dealt with since I've been born. I have been told my entire life that I am too sensitive. And whenever I have, dealt with people, right? Because the way that I deal with people is with compassion and with softness and with kindness.
So I wanted to show a little bit about Bri because, she did talk about a little bit about this. And I also wanted to do a quick shout out for the men that are watching. Okay, you notice what she has in the background. She has eat, sleep, play, repeat, which was basically a video game. And again, so more than likely, Bri is heart type with thinking type. Okay, that's probably what she is. I don't feel any instinct energy in her. And more than likely, that is where her center is. And again, these women, I'm always saying these women are out here, decently attractive, plays video games, probably highly intelligent. And this is the type of thing that I'm constantly saying because these women are highly desired, but many times they'll end up dating the exact wrong guy. And then, us as men, we'll go out and we'll date the wrong woman. And then, like I said, she, because I already did a video with her. So I know she's probably somewhere between 24 and 26. And so in that energy, by the time she's 35, she could have had 2 or 3 boyfriends. They could have done her wrong. They could have hurt her. And then now she's basically sore, if she doesn't end up with a kid. And so now, she's kind of been in this situation where it becomes very difficult for her to date. And it basically becomes difficult because of pain. There's too much pain there. But it's always interesting to me because I run into these people, and you talk, about them. And that's why I wish more people on CSC, I could get them to come out, on the world stage. But, it's very difficult for a lot of the people, at this level. When you're basically talking about people in Africa or watching me, people in Europe, people in South America, and a lot of people, especially the heart base and the thinking base, they don't want to be seen like that. All right. That's not something that they want. But what it proves to me is that there's really great people out here. And I've always said the biggest issue is that we're trying to get the good people together. But remember, selfish people, all right, selfish people love to find good people because 2 selfish people can't be in a relationship together. They're never going to be in a relationship. And remember, your energy goes before you. So a selfish person, once he's been with or she's been with one or two good people, selfless people, they understand their energy and they're able to go from, selfless person to selfless person. The relationships never last long, but they're able to do it over and over and over again. And unfortunately, they pollute the energy of the selfless people, right? And so now the selfless people unfortunately go from selfish person to selfish person to selfish person. And it becomes this repeating process. Now, I know for a lot of the thinking people, we might be able to get into their head and kind of divert them a little bit. But I always love to, to show these types of videos, to show something different, okay? And let people out there know, okay, there's a lot out here. There's a lot of sweet women out here, okay? There's a lot of them. But again, just like I said in the last video with Bri, I think that's how she says her name. She has to find really great men. The lady before her has to find really great men. If that means they have to talk to a guy that's 7 years older, they need to do it. If he happens to be 10 years older, they need to do it. They don't need to be scared. Find the good person. Okay? If the guy is a year younger, find him. I don't care. But you have to get out of these very narrow worlds where we're like, oh, well, I'm not going to date anybody over here. I'm not going to date anybody over here. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Get out of that. Open yourself up and then you might find love. But we're spending way too much time trying to go for the image of what we think is love instead of going for what is love. I'm doing a lot right now when it comes to membership. So there is that join button down there. You want to hit it. And that way we can do a little bit more as we go forward. I am doing lives now on the first and third Wednesday of every month. So you can, if you go to the community page, if you have not checked out the community page, please go check it out. I've been starting to put some stuff out there, asking different questions, trying to find out what, you all might want to talk about and, go over and things like that and trying to find more about your opinions on things. So please go check out the community tab. But also, like I said, that community tab will have a Zoom on it, at least for the next 2 months or so. And it's going to be out there for everybody. But sooner or later, that Zoom will only be for members, right? But for right now, it's going to be open to the public. So everybody can kind of join, can kind of see how the flow is and try to see, what I'm doing and what they, what benefits, they can have when it comes to membership. That's one of the things that we're trying to do. So people can go a little deeper. That's really all it is. People can go a little bit deeper and then they won't feel, as pressured because the membership, while it technically is over the world, there's only a limited amount of people that will see and or interact with it. All right. So that is coming. That's one of the things that we're working on. But again, until then, please like, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the very next video.